Welcome everyone to March Mania, Best of Northern Kentucky. So this is J Craun with Keller Williams, and I am being joined by David, Heather, and Cameron. Can you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves really quick? David, we'll start with you.
Yep, David Behymer, guaranteed rate. At Loan Officer Dave, I am a mortgage lender in the Northern Kentucky area.
Heather?
I'm Heather Pilcher, and I am licensed in Ohio and Kentucky, serving both sides of the river in the greater Cincinnati area.
There you go.
I am Cameron Berens with eXp Realty, and I am licensed in Kentucky.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining me today. For our audience, if you don't know, the basketball tournament thing that I'm not going to say the name of because copyright problems sometimes is happening soon, and we thought it would be fun in jest to have what we're calling March Mania Best of Northern Kentucky. We are going to be going through the different cities. We picked 32 cities in the Northern Kentucky area. We're going to go through each round, each battle, whatever we want to call it, game, because it's not basketball. It's not copyright.
Right.
And we'll be talking which ones we like the most, what they have to offer, and we'll be picking the best city in Northern Kentucky that we feel.
Based on our opinion.
Yeah, based on our opinion, understanding that might be different for you all. There might be different opinions out there, and that's totally fine.
Which we would love to hear, by the way.
Yes.
If you're disagreeing, definitely leave it in the comments and be like, no, you're absolutely wrong because of this reason.
Yes, so you will be seeing every single post with each video that we are posting. There's going to be a Google form so the audience can vote on their opinions.
Okay, awesome.
So at the end of March, we will be having, this was our choices, and this was actually the audience choices for best city and everything. So we will be having that. We would love for people to be involved and give us their opinions versus what we're saying. We're going to be a little biased. I grew up in Campbell County. David went to Campbell County High School with me. You're a transplant, but did you start in Ohio when you moved here?
Nope.
Okay.
So I grew up on the West Coast. Husband's from California. I'm from Idaho. We moved out here for jobs, worked in Cincinnati, lived in Kentucky the whole time.
Got you.
And now we're real estate.
Very cool. And then both of you are Boone County. You
Yeah,
just
well,
moved.
yeah. My family's been between Boone County and Kenton County, Campbell County, a little bit in each one, actually. I'm just homegrown.
Yeah. So this is going to be an interesting take. I appreciate you guys being here. To let the audience know, the power rankings that you're going to see on the sheets and everything, all that came from population. That wasn't like, we already did this is best or anything. The power rankings
No
is
built-in
just
biases. It's strictly
exactly.
population.
It's truly just population is how we have a power rankings. The highest population got number 1. The lowest population got number 32. So we're going to start out Covington, California.
All right.
Covington versus California. Do we have any strong opinions? Right. I mean, again,
I have a strong opinion to start off
what do
with.
you have?
So, Covington used to be my favorite, but they changed their regulations for Airbnbs. They completely did not monitor it at all, and then suddenly are telling everybody there's, I think, 300 to 400 that are not operating with the proper licensing, and they're not allowing people to apply for permits until May. So they're telling everybody they're going to fine them $500 to $1,000.
This is a personal
This was
thing.
a spicy take.
Yeah, so I know multiple Airbnb owners, and we have an Airbnb as well. And so Covington loses. I love California because it's rural.
Because it's the wild, wild west out there.
Yes.
They don't care what you do, apparently.
So, and that's interesting because my take on it was just going to be as simple as Covington's the biggest. Sure, it's more well known with Main Strasse and Madison and everything else. But the only reason I was going against California is because I was so sick in high school. The dad joke, and you're smiling because I think you know exactly where this is going. The dad joke of, I was just over in California. How do you get back here so quick? From the West Coast? It was the dad joke everyone heard at least 6 times a day of, I was in California. And they just make the joke that they're on the West Coast.
Sounds like something a bunch of rednecks would do.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Well, homegrown, yes, I can confirm.
Yes.
All right, so we've got, you're going California, I'm going Covington. Okay, what do we got
I
going?
gotta go Covington. I feel like I'll be
I wanted to go with Covington as well. I'm from Campbell County. I have a deep heart for California, but at the end of the day, I now live in Park Hills, so I have a heavy bias to the Kenton County side, and I spend most of the weekends at the restaurants. There's a ton of great restaurants there. I think California, their only restaurant is Angelo's, which is tied to a gas station. So
don't even know if that exists anymore.
Really?
Yes, but and I'm quoting everyone who calls it this, Hillbilly Market.
Yeah.
Is right across, and I'm pretty sure they have a deli. So.
Yeah. Well, so I
Yeah,
guess.
so you still got a place.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Covington
All right.
wins.
Yes,
Covington, 3-1, Covington. All right. We have up next, Fort
Up
Thomas
next, yes.
and Bromley.
Yes, Fort Thomas and Bromley. David, I'm going to go to you first.
So this one was a tough one, Adam. I'm going to be honest with you because my wife and her whole family is from Bromley.
Yep, you got it.
Personal again.
Yeah, I know.
Stuff right off the bat.
I kept finding, I went with the heavy biases here, but at the end of the day, I think I'm going to have to give it to Fort Thomas just because, as much as I'm, not a fan of what we used to call the cake eaters and all that, they have the better restaurants. I'm a big guy on the restaurants, so I like that. They have a better park. I think they take the cake if you ask me.
Yeah, Heather, what about you?
Well, I don't like Bromley, but I definitely don't like Fort Thomas.
Yeah.
I think it's highly overrated, so I'm voting Bromley.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I don't really have a strong preference here for either one. I even I wrote Fort Thomas, but I put like a question mark next to Bromley because I wasn't sure. The big deciding factor that I wrote down was Fort Thomas Independent School District is ranked number 3 in the state of Kentucky. So they're putting us on the map there, and I didn't really have a justification to pick Bromley besides, I don't know, I just was rooting for an underdog. But
Fair. No, yeah, and for me, being in marching band at Campbell County, I used to be friends with the kids at Highland marching band and everything. It's always a good time. You can't go wrong with Dave and I sort of have a soft heart for food. We're foodies. So Midway Cafe, all those areas. Plus the park with all the restored soldiers' homes and everything that they've done. I thought that was just beautiful architecture and everything. So I got to go Fort Thomas. So Fort Thomas is going to be moving on. All right. Next up is going to be Oakbrook versus Park Hills. Heather, I'm going to cut to you first. Do you have any opinions?
I like Park Hills because that's where one of my friends live that watched my son, and they have lizards there.
Yeah, they do. There are only like certain communities in northern Kentucky that have the lizards. It's
Fort Thomas and Park Hills.
You cross that line into another dimension, and there's just lizards don't exist anymore.
They're oddly in Covington, Devu Park area too. But I'm gonna have to speak out vocally for Oakbrook, which I did not even know was going to be considered a city. It's not even considered.
Yeah, so I will clarify for Boone County. Technically, on Boone County's government website, they only acknowledge Walton, Union, and Florence as actual cities. Yeah. The rest are either census-designated places or other unincorporated communities. So, Oakbrook specifically is a census-designated place.
Well, so I grew up in.
But we needed cities.
I grew up in northern Kentucky, which I'll repeat many times so you all remember. And Oakbrook, to me, when I was growing up, was like one of the bigger, prominent neighborhoods in Boone County. When I thought of Boone County or thought of Florence, I didn't think of like a Plantation Point or a Hempstead or a Triple Crown or something like that in Boone County. I always thought Oakbrook is where like the rich kids live and stuff. And to me, it was always one of the nicer neighborhoods. So because of that, a little nostalgia, I'm picking Oakbrook. But
yeah, and that's one of the things that did surprise me is Oakbrook being power ranking number 9. So they're pretty high up there in the population. Population of 9,337 right now. So, David, where are we going to go here?
So I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, obviously I have a heavy bias to Park Hills. It's where I live now. I love walking around. All the houses, the architecture there is just awesome. All the old homes. But mostly, Adam, I had no idea what Oakbrook was, so I just couldn't put that on my ranking.
Well, that's Boone County knowledge over there for you. So Park Hills.
Park Hills it is. I'm sorry, Oakbrook. I'm sorry.
He fought for you. Just let the record show, Cam did fight for Oakbrook.
All right, next round is going to be Taylor Mill Bellevue. I feel like this is going to be one of those a little bit more of discussion. I might be wrong. Personally, I'll let you know where I'm going. I'm going Bellevue. It's a love-hate with Bellevue. I love what Bellevue has to offer. I hate that the easiest way to get to Bellevue is Fairfield Avenue. The tightest, most annoying street because traffic is always horrific between that 4:30, 5:30 window.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have we had showings at like 5:30 because everyone's getting off of work?
Right.
And I'm like, it's just a red line on Google Maps to get me there. Either you're doing that or you're getting off on the Target exit and taking that back way into Bellevue.
Yeah.
So I'm still going Bellevue, but there's some hesitation on it. So Cameron, what do you got?
I would like to not go next. I want somebody else to go next. I want to hear some else input.
David, we're going to jump to you.
I went with Bellevue as well, just because, again, going back to the food.
Yep.
I love all the little food and shops
I mean,
that they have there.
Nomad, you can't go wrong with.
Oh, yeah.
There's a whole bunch of great options there.
Yeah, and Taylor Mill, because I couldn't remember if Taylor Mill technically has Nuckenfutz or if that's at Independence. I couldn't tell which line that was
What
on.
did you say?
Nuckenfutz.
Nuckenfutz is a local bar.
They're known for their wings.
It's a really good wing place.
Nuck and Futz is
Yes.
what we're saying.
Don't say it too
clarify.
much. Don't
Yeah.
say it
Not
too
need
fast
to
too
be
many
edited.
times. Yeah.
But yes, no, that is technically Taylor Mill. I did
Okay.
check that because they do have really great wings if nobody's been there.
But see, and that was like the only thing that I could really personally think of like, oh, I like Taylor Mill because of that. So I had to go with Bellevue.
That's fair. Heather, we're going to
From a
jump.
practical standpoint, I'm going to say Taylor Mill because it's
Okay.
right in the middle of northern Kentucky, quick access to 275. So as a real estate person, and if you
That's
work
true.
downtown, anywhere, you can get quick access to where you need to go.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it is one of those. Taylor Mill is very centrally located, and then Covington, for some reason, boomerangs around it and just decided not to claim Taylor Mill. So,
Yeah.
Cameron,
Oh, man.
what do we got?
So I'm kind of torn, and so I didn't want to do this, and now I feel like I have
Yeah,
a deciding pick.
well,
here.
that's what you
All
get
of
for
it-
being
all of
last.
it- Yeah, I know. I did this to myself. So I actually lived in Taylor Mill for about 3 months, little FF, right off the exit. If you're coming from like 75, 71, turn right off the Taylor Mill exit, and there's this little side street where you can go up. It's like a gravel road.
Over
at
by the
very
softball
end of that.
complex?
That's what I was gonna say.
So like when you get off the exit, turn right, and then make your first right, where like the gas station is, where they just put
Oh,
the road
yeah,
out.
yeah, okay. I know
And
what
your
you're
very first right before the actual neighborhood there, there's this like this gravel road. At the very end of it, I don't even know the house is there anymore. But I lived there one summer when I was younger. It's not appropriate for this show. But
fair.
it was my first time living outside of home. And I had a lot of great experiences there in Taylor Mill. And to your point, it was great to getting places.
Yeah.
And Taylor Mill is so centrally located. But I do like Bellevue and like the changes that have been made there these days.
If you vote Taylor Mill, it's going to split at 50-50.
It is going to split 50-50. I'm going to go with Bellevue.
All
I'm
right.
gonna go with Bellevue. Just because
Love
I
to
don't
see it.
have any real strong reasons, but
How's your
let's go
bracket?
Bellevue.
I'm 100% right here.
I think I busted a couple already. Next up, I'm going to take this a little bit more personally. Independence versus Rabbit Hash. Now, I didn't love seeing this matchup in the first round because I think Rabbit Hash has a lot to offer. Technically, population of 236, as well as
I'm not a fan of this matchup either because I'm very torn.
yes, it's what I live in Independence personally. I love Independence. We've talked about this. Where I live in Independence, it's right to 17. I can go to Turkey Foot. I can cut across to 16 if I need to. It's extremely centrally located. That's personally why I love Kenton County so much. If I need to get to Campbell or Boone, I'm not going across 2 counties. It's wonderful. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna have to go Independence, but those like Sunday drives to Rabbit Hash, if anybody's ever been to the general store, you can't deny
Oh, it's
it.
beautiful.
You just can't deny it. So
Yeah.
I'm going Independence. This was a tough one.
I'm gonna go Rabbit Hash, but I feel like there's such a strong. I can't wait to hear your all's inputs too, because there's such a strong reason to pick both of them. Independence has a much better like. There's such a growing, booming area. They're bringing so much into it. If you saw Independence 15 years ago, 10 years ago, it's
Yeah.
nothing like what it is now. You get more house for your dollar out there. Lots of great things about Independence, but Rabbit Hash has like a cult-like following,
Yes.
like liking to it. There are people that aren't even from Kentucky that follow the Rabbit Hash like Facebook page, and they it's like you go there just to get a corny bumper sticker. It's like I was in Rabbit Hash, or like where is Rabbit Hash is like a bumper sticker. So I don't know. There's lots of great things. To me, it's a sentimental thing. It's maybe a nostalgia thing for Rabbit Hash. I'm gonna have to go Rabbit Hash for that reason. But so it's experience-wise, Rabbit Hash like.
For the culture.
For the culture, yeah. Like economically, I'm thinking Independence or so, but I'm going with Rabbit Hash. So that's what I got.
I like Rabbit Hash because of the destination aspect of it, like you've already mentioned, but I vote Independence because there's a lot more driving for it.
Yeah, there is quite a bit in Independence.
Gonna make me.
We're making
tiebreaker,
you
huh?
pick. I mean, it's
Well,
it's Independence, personally the logical choice because I live there, or Dogmare. So
Well, see, and that's where I was surprised that nobody brought this up. That I
I
thought
knew you were
Rabbit
gonna
Hash
bring it up.
was going to be a fan favorite just for the fact that their mayor is a dog. I
Yes.
think it's a French bulldog right now, I believe, right?
I won't fact check you on that.
I'm pretty sure it's a French bulldog. How do you not love French bulldogs? Come on.
I mean, yeah.
But it was honestly, I went with Rabbit Hash, just to rip that Band-Aid off. But I mean, to be honest, it was a tough one. My brother lives in Independence, so I love going out there, visiting my nephews and everything. Like you said, you get a lot more house for your dollar. But then I kind of started thinking a little more into it too, just because at the end of the day, there are parts of Independence that it almost feels like you're driving across the county just to get there. Like there's so many places out there that are just so
far.
so far, and you're just like, where even am I still in Independence? Where even am I anymore?
But
So,
to that point, to get to Rabbit Hash, you have to drive across the whole
but it's
state.
pretty dry.
But it's a
pretty
You're
dry.
never driving out there just like, it's relaxing.
Yeah,
Independence,
you don't even
you're
feel
like,
like
am I
it.
still in here?
Yeah.
All right, so we have our first split. Heather and I are Independence. You two are Rabbit Hash. So I'm gonna cut behind the cameras. Brian, what are we gonna go with?
All right, well, I'm going to walk on camera so you guys can see. So, I'm not a realtor, and I just want to point that out for the record now.
Neither's David.
Yeah.
let's
I'm
get
not-
it. Secondly.
So, Dave and I are copacetic. If I have to choose between Independence and Rabbit Hash, I did spend some time in Independence. I lived with this wonderful man. I had a good time. But I gotta go with Dogmare. I'm gonna go with Rabbit Hash, you know? I always like a good dark horse candidate and nothing like a French bulldog candidate to kind of shake things up.
Exactly.
Is
You know?
that
The
is
people
that our
have
first?
spoken.
I can't.
No, it's not our first upset, but that is the biggest upset.
Oh no, that's a
so
big
far.
upset for
That's
me
a big
because of my
upset.
personal bracket. I had Independence win it all. So
Oh wow.
Out in the first round.
So
That's why you
if,
don't tell me
Wow.
to make a choice.
so if you're wanting to make a move in Rabbit Hash, we know a guy that can get the financing and a guy that actually likes you.
well,
I'll
to
drive
be
all the way
fair-
out to closing,
To be
too.
fair,
Come out.
last year's unit sold 0.
Yeah.
there's
not
Well,
a
then
lot
I
of
think
it.
that speaks
Because
volumes.
It's so
That's what I'm
awesome.
saying. That speaks
Nobody
volumes
wants
to
to
the
leave.
city.
Yeah.
The reason Independence has so much volume is because everyone's moving to it because it's the most popular. So I can't believe that happened.
We're splitting hairs here, right?
I'm screaming inside. You guys, Cruitt's Creek alone should be the reason Independence moves on. But they
All
better mac and cheese than Keystone. But
All right, let's move on. Adam.
the group has decided.
It's gonna take a while to get over this one.
So group has decided. It's fine. It's fine. We're moving on. Newport versus Claryville.
Newport is close
Newport.
to the city.
Newport.
Got a
Wow.
sweet view.
Hands
I
down.
wouldn't
Wow.
even.
I
Newport.
personally grew up in Claryville. So I moved here 2007. It was
Another
considered
dock
Alexandria.
against Claryville.
Now the thing I want to clarify to everyone, a lot of people will be like, well, like, why aren't you talking about this thing in Alexandria or this thing in Union or whatever? I went by actual lines, not technically mailing address, because the Chipotle in Highland Heights has a Newport mailing address. So I went by actual lines, and I actually lived in Claryville, 5 minutes from the high school in Campbell County. So I love Claryville. I feel like it was its own population. It was its own area. What do we got over here?
So I went with the underdog here. I went with Claryville. If I'm being honest. That's
What?
where, yeah.
What
I did
is
not
happening?
expect this many
What
ties this
is
early.
happening?
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, it just came down to, for me, I went to high school in Claryville. I went to Campbell County High School, as we talked. You know, we spit the fighting camels. But and then
That used to be
honestly,
on a
my
t-shirt.
bias was against Newport because I used to work on the levee for about 5 years, and I've seen, I think, the worst of what Newport has to offer there. So I had a heavy bias against it.
Fair.
I like the food, I like the
Yeah.
entertainment aspect of Newport, but working there for 5 years will leave you a bad taste in your mouth. So I went with Claryville.
Can I speak to Newport and try to pull some history heartstrings for you here?
Let's-
Newport
let's-
has some of the
let's
most
see what you got.
some of the most like deep, rich history in northern Kentucky. If you did not know, back from the days when Al Capone smuggling alcohol through Newport was one of his stops. If you didn't know, there's some buildings there that were from one of the first founders of the Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts. Lots of deep, rich history in
So
Newport,
deep, rich
Kentucky.
history or high school.
You know
Or
what?
your high school emotions.
That's a solid point. I don't live in Claryville anymore. Newport's moving on.
Yeah, you know what? You changed me. I'm a changed man. I'll
I'm
go
changed
Newport.
man now.
if you enjoy drinking your alcohol, know that you would have been in Newport.
Yeah.
Fair.
What, 100 years ago about?
Well, and the inventor of the Tommy gun, the Thompson House there, which is now a concert venue. But
Oh, I didn't know that.
and you know what? You're swaying me even more because let's be honest here. Big Daddy's Liquor, the fan favorite.
There you
Fan
go.
favorite.
Yeah.
You're up until 2-3 in the morning for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They're still open with a drive-through. You know,
They will never close. They will never
No.
be shut down.
they're just building everything around.
They
Big
really
Daddy's
are.
Liquor.
Everything is being
The
built around
ovation.
Big
That's
Daddy's
all
Liquor.
just swallowing it.
Can you imagine if it was called Big Mama's liquor
Yeah.
store?
That would be interesting.
Oh, shoot.
All right,
Right.
next round, we're jumping into Union versus Richwood.
I only thought Richwood was an exit with construction, so I'm going Union.
Fair. Honestly, yeah, I'm going Union.
Union.
I went with Ridgewood. And you know what? I'm really disappointed in you guys because it's the family fun place to shop, all right?
What are you talking about?
Ridgewood Flea Market?
Oh, yes.
It's not,
okay,
but it's a
this-
U-Haul center now.
That's
Yeah.
closed down?
Mm-hmm.
All right, then I go
Jeez.
Union.
I don't know.
There we go.
Maybe the
You
parking
swayed me.
lot still is. I forget. I haven't been.
I feel like I've heard the radio ads still.
It
Like,
might still be the parking lot.
They might have
but
just forgot to stop
the
paying.
building
That's-
itself.
yeah,
the
honestly.
building itself.
They have a
is,
10-year
owned by U-Haul
plan.
now.
Yeah, no, Union's a easy win on that one. So, all right, next
Family
one.
fun place
Wow,
to
that was way quicker. Next one is going to be Cold Spring versus Fort Wright. Cameron, I'm going to you first.
I'm gonna be honest, and I'm sorry to anyone that lives in either of these cities. I do not care particularly. I don't have
What a
any.
strong stance.
I don't, and it's not negative. I don't know. I couldn't come up with a valid reason why I would pick one over the other. I'm like, if somebody's like, "What do you like Fort Wright and Cold Spring? Which one do you like?" Or just like more like, to me, they are the same.
That's fair. That's fair. David?
I have a sentimental reason for Cold Spring.
Okay.
So my grandfather was a volunteer firefighter at the Central Campbell Fire Department in Cold Spring for 40 plus years. So I had to go with that, even though I live closer to Fort Wright. There's really not a whole lot in Fort Wright. It's more of like, I feel like, I mean, they have the little
There's a
Walmart.
Walmart.
Yeah, and I hate Walmart. I have a personal vendetta against them. I'm not going to get into that here. But yeah, I don't know. I had to go with Cold Spring for the sentimental value.
All right, so we're locked up. What's going on, Heather?
I'm going to say Cold Spring.
Okay.
And I like Cold Spring because I think there's some really nice communities and neighborhoods there. Very affordable, nice houses.
That's fair.
Did you pick Fort Wright?
No, I haven't picked yet.
Oh,
Personally, I'm going Cold Spring. The reason I'm going Cold Spring, a lot of people could potentially consider it like a pass-through city, right? Because I mean, it's I have a lot of clients who will talk to me of like, I don't want to go any further south in Campbell County than the Cold Spring Mire.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of like a frame of reference sort of thing.
I'm gonna do a
But
research point here real quick.
at
Continue.
the end of the day, I think Cold Spring has a lot to offer. I think it's a really nice small community, and you can't not go with the city that has Asian Walk heater. I mean, come
Chan's
on,
Asian Wok.
yeah, Chan's Asian Walk. Best Chinese food around. You've got to go with it. It's my absolute favorite.
We need-
Still living
tag
in
him in this.
Independence, I
So,
still go to Chan's.
What are we at right now?
Your opinion doesn't matter. It's Cold
yeah,
Spring.
whatever you say.
Yeah,
we
we also-
don't care.
Well,
what
I
you
did
guys
come
say.
up with something that I care about now.
Let's hear it.
but
Is it Cold Spring?
According to this, well, and I don't know if this is on the way you mapped it out, but Walt Hitching Post has a Fort Wright address.
Yes,
So
technically,
Yeah, I
yes,
would-
technically
that would
Walt's-
have been my only deciding
technically
factor.
Walt is for right. Yes.
Yeah, so then I will be the one that picks Fort Wright, and I lose.
Yep, there we go. All right, Cold Spring is moving on. Easy enough. We are on the right side now. So, this is where I thought the Cinderella story was going to happen because I'm going to fight tooth and nail. I'll let you know right now for Menor, Kentucky. I absolutely love Menor,
I'm
Kentucky.
prepared for this.
It's
Where,
moving on.
what did you say?
So
Where is
I
that?
asked
Manor.
the locals. I asked the locals
Manor.
yesterday. I
Manor.
got insider information from. I mean, it's basically my second family that lives there. It's a Louisville Louisville situation. It's Menor.
Louisville.
Yeah, it's Menor, Kentucky. You don't say it with a T. You spell it with a T. So it is Menor, Kentucky. That's moving on for me personally.
So I feel like I only have to say one thing, and if you're anyone that's watching this that does not live in Northern Kentucky, the only thing you know about Northern Kentucky is Florence, y'all. I mean, need I say more? Florence, y'all.
I mean, they named a baseball team after it. For
I
God's
don't
sake.
approve of that. I do not approve of that. It's being called the y'alls. I don't even know what that is. But, I mean, come on. No. Florence Mall, Florence y'all. It's Florence. It's Florence, y'all.
I think because Menor isn't even existent on the map, really, I'm going Florence.
I would love if you matched him up against anybody besides Florence. I'd have been pulling for Manor, but
I mean, look, hear me out. We've talked about last year on the MLS. I sold 100% of the homes in Menor, Kentucky.
That explains why you're fighting
it
for them.
was just one, but you were on the buy side of it, and you were on the lending side of it. So how can you guys hate what has provided it for us?
You haven't even heard my opinion. I went for Menor.
For the
reason you said alone. And I hate driving through Florence. I absolutely anytime I have to do anything that involves Florence, it doesn't matter if I'm going at 9 o'clock at night, noon, doesn't matter. I hate driving through Florence. So like I immediately, if I ever have to go there for any reason, I'm immediately upset. I want to get physically aggressive. I gotta go with Menor.
And that's all I'm saying. If Independence is going to lose first round, I'm okay if Florence loses. I'm taking you guys down with me. So.
Well, actually, it's a tie, right?
Yeah, I know, yeah. And that's,
so how are we going to do a tiebreaker? No, we got to do something different.
What are you talking about? So we got to pay rabbit. Yeah, I pay him, and he still picked against what I wanted.
I think it comes down to a Rochambeau.
No,
Rochambeau right now, Cam. One time for the
all
one
right,
time.
all right.
Or you got it? I trust you more.
Wait, just one time?
One time
Just
for the
one
one
time.
time. That's all it
Are we
takes.
going shoot?
Yes.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay. Staring each other in the eyes.
All right,
I'm
I
staring at
win
your
as
soul.
Menor, Kentucky, moving on. You win as Florence, Kentucky, moving on. This is a really... I
This
mean,
is
if we're going to
intense.
knock out big cities, we're going to knock out big cities.
Yeah, we've got to do it the most fair way possible.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Ah!
Menor, Kentucky
Hey,
is
love to see
psychologically men throw
I'm
rock
sorry,
first.
Florence.
I'm sorry for that perfect-
Florence, a.k.a.
I'm sorry for that
Northern
perfect
Kentucky.
high five that went right
Northern
into the mic, because
Kentucky.
that definitely is breaking someone's ear.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just seeing I'm seeing a spike in volume on the
You
computer.
guys
over
take
there.
Independence
Shock
from me, I take Florence from you. That's all I got to say.
That's fair.
Psychologically,
Rip my heart out. Rip my heart out.
How do you think I felt? Psychologically, I know men throw rock first more times than not, so that's why I threw paper.
He went
Wow.
way deeper than
I
I
did
thought.
not realize what I was
On the
up
hot
against.
sheet.
Yes. Didn't realize what I was up against.
Psychological warfare.
All right, well, now that we've absolutely pissed everyone off
I don't
watching
want to
these
do this anymore. I'm
videos.
not happy.
Yeah, but that's you're feeling the exact feeling I had.
I'll push through.
Burlington versus Verona. Do we have any hot takes to start off with?
I don't. I went with Burlington. Just
Burlington.
for no reason. other than-
Burlington.
Oh wow, okay.
And it's
y'all
fun.
went-
I'm not
y'all went
against
Burlington.
Verona. It's
Yeah,
just,
I like
to me,
Verona.
I had to go Burlington.
Burlington's
Yeah.
just more fun to say too.
Yeah.
Burlington.
Yeah, I mean they have a coat factory for. I'm just kidding. So yes, we're gonna go Burlington. That was an easy one. Look, we can
Sorry,
agree
Brian,
on things.
I don't dislike you. I just. It's
You go to Burlington Coat Factory with $600. You are a king.
Yes. All right, next.
I hope we clash on this one. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm curious. Fort Mitchell versus Crestview Hills. Now, I think the interesting thing about this one is
I want
a
to
lot
hear
of
the
people
out-of-towner
are.
go first.
That's
well,
fair.
I know you're local now, but someone that didn't grow up here. I want to hear your input on this.
Yeah, what do you got?
I like Crestview Hills.
Okay.
And I like their shopping center. They've got all types of food.
Mm-hmm.
They have Kids
Yep.
Strong and other events, lots of shopping.
Florence had that stuff too. But go ahead. Sorry. I digress.
So Crestview Hills.
Okay. Cameron, what about you?
I'm gonna go Crestview Hills too, for basically everything that she said. I mean, and this is again, I like everyone in Fort Mitchell. I feel like I need to say that disclaimer in case anyone wants to use me to buy or sell real estate. But growing up, and I went to Ryle, and that was just one of the big Beechwood school districts. I mean, you gotta,
Yeah.
you can't like them. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
you didn't grow up there. You can't like them, even though ranked number 2 independent school district, or ranked number 2 school district in the state of Kentucky.
Does that mean that they're ahead of Fort Thomas?
It does.
Just pointing that out.
It's no review. In case we have a matchup, they are ahead.
Yes, according to niche.com, for anyone's like, no, they're not. I didn't come up with that. But yeah, I'm going with Crestview Hills.
All right, David, where are we going?
I went with Fort Mitchell. For no other reason than that's where I get my groceries. And Fort Mitchell Public House. You can't go wrong. I absolutely love Fort Mitchell Public House.
Look, I'm gonna Fort Mitchell Public House, Comparosa. I mean, you've
Oh, yeah.
Braxton Barrel House. You've got all of those options there. Huntington, that's my Huntington right there. I think it's all great. I think Fort Mitchell and Crestview Hills some people can kind of get confused because they're so centrally located.
They're right next to each other.
I mean, look, I will never not go to Anthony at Mercedes-Benz Fort Mitchell for a car ever again.
Name
However,
drop.
I gotta go Crestview Hills. All right, I think we've got another interesting matchup with Highland Heights versus Dayton. Heather, do you want to go ahead and go first on this one?
I'm just gonna not vote Dayton. I'll vote Highland Heights.
Okay,
Wow. Just
okay.
not
That's an
Dayton.
interesting. That's almost abstaining at this.
Go ahead.
No,
You
I
had something good to say.
No, I
Go
just
ahead.
I feel like I know what he's gonna pick, but I'm gonna let
I'm
you
gonna go last, so we're gonna find out.
I'm gonna go Dayton. I mentioned before we started that a lot of my family's from Newport, so I've been to the Dayton area, Dayton and Bellevue area frequently. So there's my bias, but I like what Dayton and Bellevue area are becoming and bringing some more restaurants. I think Galactic Chicken is technically in Dayton, right?
I was really confused on some of those because I was like trying to think of Dayton versus Bellevue because they're
Yeah,
all
they're-
right.
And then
pocket.
some people on the Dayton border call themselves Bellevue, but they're not, and everything
Yeah.
else. Yeah, I will say Galactic Fried Chicken, big, especially because my wife has celiac disease, so gluten knocks her out for days. Galactic Fried Chicken has gluten-free and is very serious about gluten-free options, so there's no cross-contamination. So
Eat
that is
outside
a
when you
big
go there
winner for
though,
them.
because you will smell like fried chicken.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%,
because it's
yes.
real fried chicken.
And see, I think you're all choosing Dayton because of the Galactic Fried Chicken.
Well,
not because
not
of
that.
Dayton.
If you would have, I know.
To be fair, I'm talking about Galactic Fried Chicken. I haven't picked Dayton yet.
Oh,
Is
that's true.
Hometown Heroes technically in Dayton as well?
I'm not 100% sure.
I feel like that is because it's not right next. That's like right next to.
I
like-
want to say that's right on the line because that's where right next to Manhattan Harbor's entrance.
I was going to say if you asked me this in about 10 to 15 years, I would vote Dayton because I see the growth that's happening there.
See,
I like
I was
it.
going to say 10 to 15 years ago, I would have been like, I am not really going to Dayton because there's no reason to.
Yeah, and they
But
are
now-
building, they are growing. I see
Yeah.
the potential. There's
That's
that
what I
Manhattan
like about it.
Harbor. I know, and I don't even know if that where you had that Asian open house. Is that technically Dayton as well, or is
Yeah,
that,
that's
is that,
yeah.
Okay, see, like there's
Yeah, that's
growth.
Manhattan Harbor.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
growth coming there, but it's still behind in my opinion. I'm sorry, Dayton. So, and I went to college at NKU. I'm Norse up, Yeah, exactly, Norse up. So I'm going with Highland Heights.
So for me, I guess I had the chance to tie it.
Break my heart again. Go ahead.
I'm going Highland Heights on this one. I like Dayton. I like what it has to offer. Kate's Catering is there, and they're a great company for if you guys need like chef meals or anything, because that's where I order from all the time, so I don't have to cook food. But yeah, I got to go Highland Heights on this one. It makes the most sense for
Your alma mater.
background, alma mater, everything. Yep. All right, so we're into an interesting one: Erlanger versus Petersburg. And no, I'm not talking Russia or anything like that. This is Petersburg,
I was
Kentucky.
gonna say whoever wants
Kentucky,
to
yep.
start. I don't really have a strong opinion.
I think sometimes people like Petersburg because it's got like not many people know about it, so it's because you think it's just like Burlington area, Burlington, Hebron, but really Petersburg is its own thing. But I got to go with Erlanger for the same reason that I feel like I had to go with like Florence, and I forget there was another one, but Erlanger, Ellesmere area, I feel like for many years now. It may not be what it was now because so many other places building up, but there was a lot right there on Dixie Highway. Like that was actually one of the first house that my parents bought. We lived right there on that Erlanger Ellesmere line, and you could walk to much things down Dixie Highway. A lot of people, Dixie Chili, a lot of people love that. I mean, Skyline's better, sorry, but there's a lot of people that.
I mean, if you tolerate Cincinnati chili, yes. But
So I'm going Erlanger. I just feel like it's a lot more to offer, and it's a lot more history and heritage there.
fair, Heather too.
I'm going Erlanger as well. I think there's a lot of the warehouses and companies that are growing and expanding there. And they have Silver Lake.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Fun
So that's
place.
stuff I didn't even say. Erlanger's kind of more than just that Dixie Highway area.
Yeah.
That's just what I.
Yeah, Erlanger's like
Grew
a
up to.
weirdly big
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, I mean they are number 4 in the power rankings for population.
Yeah,
They are a
everybody pick
population
Erlanger?
of 20,000. So the only thing I was going to say, the interesting thing was Petersburg is double the average sale price as of last year, with only 12 units sold versus 283 units sold.
Wow,
Yes,
is that
exactly.
583?
Yeah, so 583.8 in Petersburg. That's the only really interesting fact. I'm going to go Erlanger too. I think it's a common sense choice.
I will go
Respect
Erlanger.
Petersburg
So I
all
didn't,
day,
even
every
need,
day.
to, I didn't even need to pitch it that hard.
Yeah, no, you really didn't need to go in that much. We don't care.
I should have saved that in the future.
My thing was I guess I need to get more versed in Boone County because I had no idea what Petersburg. I was thinking, honestly, when I first read Petersburg, I was mistaking it for the neighborhood in Covington that Pieselburg.
Yes.
So I was getting real. I was like, well, that's on
because
It's Peters. I'm like, I don't know where that is. So
Yeah. All right, next one we're jumping into. I feel like this is going to be a good one. Alexandria Wilder.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and start it off. Alexandria.
Alexandria.
I would like to pull for Wilder, but it's one of those ones. It's like Alexandria is just so much larger and.
Yeah, and so I guess this was a lot easier. Well, I mean, if you want to say what you want, but I think
He's already giving you the cold shoulder.
You're going Alexandria.
hurting.
I think we know for a fact us Campbell County High School boys are going to Alexandria. I like Wilder. It has the movie theater.
I was gonna say,
I mean,
you
it's
can't
got
argue the
Regal.
movie theater.
It's that nostalgia.
Well, it's where we all went every Friday.
Yeah,
So it's where you hung out. You just hung out in the parking lot.
Well, either we did that or we hung out in the Walmart parking lot and shot each other with Nerf guns or whatever. So, I mean, that's really what you had to do in Campbell County High School.
I've seen a lot of good fights happen at the Wilder movie theater.
Yeah,
It's, that was the Fight Club back in the day, it seemed.
Wow, so that was actually really quick.
pretty quick.
Alexandria. So, my favorites, Behymer versus Ludlow.
Killer Hills.
Villa Hills for those who don't know
For
what I'm
those
talking
who
about.
don't know how to pronounce it, but how funny would that be if I just started to... It's actually Behymer. It's Spanish.
You should have just kept,
It's like
not even
San
said
Diego.
anything, just kept going with it.
So, Villa Hills versus Ludlow. I mean, I think... Where are we going with this one?
I'm gonna go with Ludlow for the reason that we touched on with some other places. Is I think that they are really turning around there from what, and I say turning around from what people viewed Ludlow as.
Yep.
R.I.P. Yacht Club, but there's that as well. But it's
silence.
yeah. I think that there's lots of like little restaurants, coffee shops. Someone that we all know, Phil, a real estate agent, just opened the 1975.
1975.
Yeah,
I literally was making
really
sure I
good
was
too.
looking
I've
it up
been
because I'm
trying
dyslexic with numbers.
Yeah.
I wanted to say 1795 because I always twist them, but I just looked it up. It is 1975.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to Matt,
1795
Burgers and
restaurant.
Shakes, and he's also got, I believe he's got a liquor license, so he can do beer and
Yes.
everything.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So yeah,
I heard that too.
I was
So
saying what kind of food.
yeah, I just think it's got a lot of.
1795 restaurant have.
I think how you said about Dayton in 10 to 15 years. I think Ludlow maybe like 5 years or less than that. They're already starting to get there. So
yeah. I would say, look, here's my take. I like Villa Hills. I like a lot of the homes in that area. I think there's a lot of times I'll drive through those communities. But my reason for Ludlow, aside from I think they've got great restaurants, I think they've got great culture, Burgess, everything else, is the big reason it's a no on Villa Hills is Buttermilk Pike, those intersections to get to Villa Hills is the reason I have anxiety.
Yeah.
So
they do have some awesome houses back there, though.
They have some
Really
incredible
about it.
houses. I love
Beautiful
the homes
homes.
back there.
Yeah.
I've always told my wife that if we had the opportunity to buy a house, I'd still be hesitant because I'd have to deal with that intersection just to get out. So I'm personally going Ludlow. Heather, where are you going?
Well, I'm going to go Villa Hills. If any of you would like to buy or sell real estate, Villa Hills. Yep.
We have no problem with our shameless plugs.
And I went Ludlow, honestly, really for no other reason than I snubbed Bromley in the left half. So I had to, and 1975, I like the little shops and restaurants. I feel like it is growing, but mostly it was because I snubbed Bromley.
Fair. All right. So Ludlow's moving on. We are on the final match for this round of 32. We are at HEBRON Walton.
I feel like it's going to be a really hot take for you personally, Cam.
You can leave it on.
Because you think I'm indecisive on it?
No, I don't know if you're indecisive or I just feel like you have very strong opinions one way or the other.
I do, but so should I? Maybe I'll just start this one out.
Yeah,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
okay, so being primarily Boone County in my heritage here, it was kind of tough because I like Hebron. I like that they're getting a lot more. Which if people did not know, there is a lot of nice houses in Hebron. You have to drive out there a little bit, but there's some nice homes,
Especially starting in Rivers Point.
Yeah.
area. Yeah.
So like when you think really nice homes in like Villa Hills, there's a couple of areas back there. It's really nice homes. So I was kind of pulling for Hebron a little bit, but Walton for so many reasons. For one, bring out my numbers here again. Walton Verona Independent School District is the 24th in the entire state of Kentucky, which is number
25?
4.
Just kidding.
Well, I wrote down the wrote out of the top 25, Northern Kentucky has 5 of the top 25. I don't know how many are in the entire state, but it sounds more impressive if I just say it this way.
No, that's right.
But Walton Verona is number 4 out of the top 5 in Northern Kentucky. But I think like one of the things I know you had jotted down was the St. Joe Pig Festival. If you did not know, that is a big
That's
thing.
a big one. A huge shout out to my transaction coordinator, Shandy. She's always there volunteering, and I always know about it. One of the biggest festivals around, especially in Northern Kentucky. So
they have I think a nice range of houses. Some I think when people thought Walton before, you would just think like I don't know hillbillies or something, but it is like you do have farmland, you do have some nice home developments, you've got some neighborhoods in the middle. You just got a lot of I don't know. It's very versatile.
You've definitely got a lot of options. Heather, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to go HEBRON because it's really close to the airport. A lot of people need to come in and out, and I have family out of state, so it's quick access to the airport.
So what I'm hearing is it's very loud there, right?
No. And some of my favorite communities are in HEBRON. There's horse riding facilities, a lot of great outdoorsy. So you had mentioned Rivers Point Estates, and that's very up and coming, like a master planned community. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I would love to share more information on that.
Yes.
I went with Hebron. I don't really have a strong bias either way, but I just went with Hebron. I know more people that live there.
Fair. And so I'm gonna.
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna stir the pot, or are you gonna make it easy?
I'm going to go Hebron specifically because of the growth happening. I mean, Amazon has contributed a lot to Hebron, Burlington area, and everything else.
Again, sounds like a loud place to live to me.
You are close to the airport, so a lot of people utilize that area, and again, the communities back there, I think, aren't well.
I was torn on this one.
They should be a lot more known, and I think not a lot of people realize, oh, that's Hebron. So yeah, I'm going to go Hebron on that, and that is the round of 32. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Guys, in the comments, I know there's going to be some that you disagree with. Please let us know. Hot takes, what do you have? What did we say that you don't agree with? Let us know in the comments. Again, there will be a Google form that is going to allow you to pick the round of 32 yourselves. We will share every single week when the new video comes out what the crowd voted versus what we voted. Personally, I know I'm not proud of some of the choices. There you go.
If you'd prefer to have animals in your administration instead of humans, vote for Rabbit Hash.
Yeah. So thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you guys for joining me. We're gonna go ahead and jump into the next round. I'm really excited for it. But we'll see you guys in the next video.